Hello, welcome everybody to this talk on human-centric lighting and our Biolux system, HCL. When we talk about lighting, we have to consider that light has many different effects, and these effects are symbolized, in this case here, by many different colors. Each color stands for a certain effect, and you know that light is relevant for our vision, but light has many more effects. Light has emotional effects, light has biological effects. They are all occurring at the same time, but they are not independent from each other, they are all correlated. And in order to bring this together in the lighting design, we need to take a holistic approach. And this holistic approach is what we call HCL. When we do this correctly, HCL will provide the right light at the right time. When we think about how we realize this, then it makes sense to take a look at natural daylight. Not only mankind, all living species have evolved under natural daylight, and of course also humans need natural daylight for their living. And if we know that humans spend only a small part of their lives outdoors in natural daylight, then we have to think how we can bring the daylight indoors. And this is an approach we take in human-centric lighting. So orientation on natural daylight makes a lot of sense. And if you look how daylight, what characteristics daylight has, then we start with a look at the spectrum of daylight. You see, daylight really has all the colors, and these colors have their different effects and their different relation to humans. The greenish and yellow part of the daylight is what we need most for vision. Our sensitivity is highest in this spectral range. But daylight has many more proportions than this greenish yellow part. Daylight has also a lot of bluish proportions. And these bluish proportions are related to non-visual effects or biological effects. So without noticing, without being conscious about this, light affects us. And these non-visual part of effects, this influences our well-being, our health, our productivity, our performance, our activity. So this is a very important part of human-centric lighting, but it is not independent from all the other effects which occur in parallel. We know also that daylight is not stable. Daylight is changing, it's dynamic. And if we look at evening daylight, then we see that these bluish parts of the light disappear. And that means in the evening we need a different light than during the day. During the day, daylight makes us active and alert. In the evening, the lack of bluish light allows us to calm down, to get tired, finally to fall asleep. If we want to mimic this with artificial light, then we need also these two extremes. We need the cold white light with high blue proportions for lighting during the day, and we need this light with only little bluish proportions for lighting in the evening and at night. And of course, we need an intelligent system which makes this transition between the two extremes automatically. No user is able to do this manually. You don't even know which light is appropriate for a certain time of the day or for a certain task. So we need an intelligent and automated system. And that is what we have realized with our HCL Biolux system, this intelligent transitions. If you do this correctly, then you can expect significant benefits. And I will cite from some studies which have been made. It's just a few collection of a few examples of studies. I start with examples from offices. And in studies, 78% of the participants felt more energized because of the improved lighting. This is a very significant result, 78%, that's a lot. But we have more effects. 66% of the participants felt happier. It's also a nice result. We are happy about this. 52% of the participants even felt healthier. You may say this is all subjective, no objective results so far, but of course we have also objective results. And 12%, this is one of the examples with objective results, of the employees really performed better. And better performance, this can be measured in increased productivity, increased accuracy, in reduced error rates. All these effects have been proven in studies. Not only in offices, this is effective, also at work in a more industrial workplaces. Some studies have shown up to 18% increase in productivity among workers. Also in this case, of course, not each and every study can reproduce these 18%. Some studies show 4, 5%, some show 20%, some show 10%. But this is a result which can be achieved. And so this sets the bar if you want really to have this positive effect in an industrial environment. In schools, very positive effects have been proven in many different studies, so this has consistently been achieved. 14% of the pupils achieved better ratings at schools, but even other effects like increased reading speed has been proven, or increased memory capabilities have been proven. There is one more thing to take into consideration, not only the direct effect on the users, but also the effect on the business of the owner of a building, for example. Sometimes we are asked, is it really true that HCL needs more energy? It depends a little bit on the starting position. If you have an older installation and you want to renew it, then HCL even saves energy. If you compare with the, let's say, cheapest solution, then HCL, of course, requires a little bit more energy because HCL produces light which needs to stimulate the user. You need a little bit more light levels, higher light levels than when you just go to the lowest standard. But taking into account the costs of energy, there are studies which prove that about 1% only of the total costs of running an office business go to energy costs. And this is all related to lighting, but also energy for the computers and so on in an office business. This is not relevant in the steel industry, of course, but in an office it's relevant. If you look what is else required, where are the other costs hidden, then you see about 9% are related to the building. If you have rented the building, it's a rental cost. If you own the building, it's the facility management, renovation, and all these things. But the rest, 90%, are the costs related to the payment of the employees. So 90% are personal costs. So if you try to really make your business more productive, more successful, then you need to try to work on these $300 cost side, because not only the costs are relevant for you, each employee brings maybe 10 times what his own costs are as a business benefit. So if you can increase this by increasing the performance or the effectivity of workers by just 1%, this will not only pay back all your energy costs, this can even pay back a significant part of the rental costs. So this is a much more significant part to work on these effectivity of the employees. I will come now more to the details of the product. And you see the product consists, the system consists mainly of 3 components. The heart of the system, of course, is the control unit, which controls the luminaires during their operation. This control is wireless via Zigbee protocol, so you don't need any cabling. The whole operation is wireless, and The luminaires and the control unit are the significant part which is used also in the setup during operation. You can connect up to 40 luminaires to control units, so it's for more single room systems or for smaller systems. During the setup, during the commissioning process, you need the HCL Biolux app installed on a mobile device. During the setup, the mobile device sends the relevant data to the control unit to set the control unit, for example, to the correct time and to the correct location where the installation is made, and of course also to enable the encrypted communication between the control unit and the luminaires. After the commissioning is done, this is no longer needed. Then you need only the control unit and the luminaires. We will come to a demonstration how easy this commissioning works in a few minutes, but I will show you what you can expect when you have done the commissioning correctly. You will not only get a dynamic daylight curve, as you may know it from other installations, other HCL installations, but you will get dynamic daylight curves in intensity and in color temperature, which are oriented on the sunrise and sunset at any place in the world where you have installed your system for any day of the year. So it changes with each day, and it changes, of course, with the place where this system is installed. But you will not get only one curve, you will get a multitude of curves, and you can select, depending on your individual requirements, which of these curves is appropriate for you. And you can, we start now in the example with the setting relax, which gives you access to these lower ranges in intensity and in color temperature, so more warmer color and lower intensities are known to support relaxation. Creativity is supported in these areas which are marked in yellow here. The natural curve is as close as possible to the natural daylight curve, so you can also operate the system throughout the whole day in this natural mode, and it will be all fine. It will be very close to natural daylight. But sometimes you need to do focused work, you need more concentration, and in some cases you even need really a boost if you're exhausted, tired, then you can go to the highest setting. But you need to take into account this boost is not the same at any time. In the evening also the boost mode will go down, and it will allow you even to fall asleep later, 2 hours after work, as it recommended from scientists. You should not have bluish light at night, and this system does it automatically. Nobody needs to know the details about this. It is just that you select the mode, and the system does the rest automatically and safe. Unfortunately, we could not invite you here in person to have this system really checked out in person, but we have provided a virtual reality simulation, and I will guide you through this virtual reality simulation now. We will concentrate on this room you see here on the upper side. First I have to go upstairs, virtually of course. Hopefully I can do this. Then you can see this room, it's a meeting room. Even if this is virtual, it is oriented on a real existing meeting room, and you see the control unit is here placed on the right-hand side. It is working in the natural mode. This is close to a natural daylight setting, and so you will have a dynamic curve throughout the day. Of course, now in the moment, let's assume it's afternoon, 2 o'clock, it is bright and it is cool white light. So if you go to focus, you will see a slight change, but not a real significant change, because also the natural mode is already quite bright and quite high in the blue content as natural daylight is. And if you go further to boost, you will also see a slight additional increase in color temperature and in intensity. And the other direction, we will go now in a few seconds, is to the create mode. This is more warm white, a more reduced light intensity, and this stimulates creativity, it stimulates open discussions, idea creation, and all these things. And the relax mode is either after your work is done or just if you need a relaxing break after hard work. The lighting design for human-centric lighting is not really that complicated as some people think, because our system already provides the right dynamic, so the timing and all these things are integrated in the system. The system is intelligent, the system is set up to the correct location, and so what you still have to do is, of course, a simple lighting design, a calculation how many luminaires are needed. And this is just an example here for a meeting room, 20 square meter. You need some more, not too many more, but maybe 30 to 40% more luminaires than you will need in a standard room, because the light does not have to be planned only for lighting at the desk level on the horizontal surface, but you need also to plan how much light enters the eye of the user. And therefore you need some higher light levels. Good starting point is, instead of planning with 500 to 700 lux at what you usually would do in such a room, you would start planning with 800 to 1000 lux light level. And then you will, in a standard room, have the correct light levels also at the eye of the user. The benefits you will get are not only related to the end user, of course. Most of the topics which I have mentioned so far are the positive effects on the end user, but also you as a wholesaler can expect added value to your product portfolio, because you will get a higher valued product. The system is not really complex. So it sounds, HCL sounds complex, sounds complicated, but the system isn't too complex. It's quite simple. The light planning is simple, as I've shown you before. You don't need a lot of training for your sales force. Also for the installer, you don't need a lot of training, because it's all very simple and easy. You get a full-featured HCL system, and this is not only a claim we are mentioning here, but it's independently proven. We have won several awards for this, and we have also a certification by the independent VDE Institute. It's a certification institute which has cross-checked if all our claims for human-centric lighting are really fulfilled, and if the system really meets the requirement as defined in standards on HCL, and this is the case. By this, currently we are the only ones who really have this, if I'm informed correctly. At least some days ago it was still like this. For the installer, it's also easy. We have a fast and easy installation. I will show you this in a few minutes. The setup runs very quick and easy, and as said, you don't need to program anything. You don't even need to understand too much about HCL. You don't need a specific know-how about chronobiology or about circadian rhythms. Our system does this automatically. And with this, I will start to show you in a setup we have prepared how the commissioning really works. For this, I have to connect my mobile phone in order that you can see what I'm really doing. Okay, now it is connected, now it works. You can see this is my mobile device. I start the HCL Biolux app. The app is looking for the control unit. It is found here. And you see that 2 luminaires are already connected. These 2 luminaires, I can prove this to you, that they are really connected by testing. You see they are blinking, and this shows they are already connected to the system. So you see it on the mobile, and you see it also when doing the test. We have here 1 luminaire which is still switched off, which is not integrated in the system yet. I will turn it on, and you can see by a blinking pattern, cold white, warm white, neutral white, that it's really fresh and ready for being integrated, because you can only integrate a new luminaire. You can't take a luminaire which is already activated in a different system. Then you need first to reset it, but this is new and can be integrated now in the system. All I have to do is to click the button Add More, and then I can add 1 or 2 or 20 up to 40 luminaires in a row. I'm doing it now for just 1. That's all. As soon as the QR code is recognized, this is done. I could add more, and then I click on Update Room. And now you see this system starts to connect. This will usually take 20 seconds, and then the connection will be established, and the luminaire will prove this by a blinking, by a short blinking. You see, now it's connected. The mobile device is continuing to work. Now the mobile device is finished, and in a few seconds you will also see here that the control unit will show this by a short blinking cycle. Now this is done. Now the complete system is up and running and can be controlled by the user. One interesting thing is also you can email a backup file of this complete installation here from your mobile phone to your personal email address, so you have a backup copy at any time later. I hope this showed to you how quick and easy the commissioning really works. I will finish my presentation with some photographs of installation we have realized at the Education and Learning Teaching Center of the Craftsmen's Association in Schleswig in Germany, northern Germany. I don't talk too much. I'll just show you the images. They have installed the system in their classrooms and in their practical rooms. And with these impressions, I will finish my presentation. Thank you.